3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Baltimore. I'm James MacArthur, and you're listening to another exciting episode of The Spectator Speaks. That's right. I am your host, James MacArthur, coming to you on this Halloween night, 2012. Boy, oh boy, is this going to be an exciting show. It's going to be a very different sort of format than we've been doing. Well, because it's nighttime, it's Halloween, and just because I feel like it. I thank each and every one of you for listening. And like I said, it's going to be a very different kind of show. You can see the title of the show, Being a Good Street Reporter, Here is How. Also, in the lower right-hand corner, there is a little speech bubble. You click on that, and it will allow you to chat with me, the host. But like I said, I'm James MacArthur, and the show will begin after this musical selection. I'll be right back.
And she brought a gun with her, pills and some rum with her. Took me on the balcony, telling me to jump with her. Yeah, I'm in the ghost, but I ain't doing stunts with her. I ain't trying to be that, haters wanna see that. But I got him aggy, cause I win the gold like Gabby. She's just a girl and she's on fire, hotter than a fantasy, only like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire, filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, she sky. And in my backyard, that's a deer god, and that's a horse ranch. And to my core fans, keep repping me, do it to the death of me. X in the box, cause ain't nobody checking me.
This girl is on fire.
There you have it, folks. Alicia Keys, Girl on Fire, which obviously I'm not a girl on fire, but, the song has a pretty intense, energetic beat, and I just thought, it kind of fits the high energy mood of the night, at least the mood that I'm in, and I thought I would start out like that, but don't get any ideas. Baltimore Spectator did not switch up on you.
This is Vincent Price. Michael Jackson is the Thriller. Can you dig it?
Yeah, well, again, it is Halloween, and even though this is a show about crime and grime and politics, it is a little bit of the Halloween spirit. I would be remiss if I didn't at least attempt to, in a bit of humor, inject some Halloween stuff. Before we get into the show proper, a few shout-outs I have to give. Micah, listening all the way down in Alabama, been going through a real rough patch. Just want to tell you to hang in there. Of course, got to thank Marvin in Colorado, all the way out there being a faithful listener. Like so many of the listeners, not catching it live, getting it in the podcast, where the live audience triples, quadruples within an hour or two overnight is quite a bit more. It's hard to get a lot of folks coming in on a live show when you don't have a set schedule or time to come on. Of course, I want to thank the always lovely Catalina Bird out there listening, and I would love to give a shout out to Justin Fenton, but he'd probably think I didn't mean it, so we'll just leave that right there. Again, if you want to chat with me in a chat room, there is a chat room function on the Spreaker network here. On the screen that you're looking at right now, listening to me, well, most of you, some of you are using an embedded player. There is a cartoon bubble to the lower right-hand side. It probably has the number 1 in red in there. That's because there's one message in there. That's the message I type saying, hi there. So feel free to type back and give me a holler. But I have to say, the listenership is really increasing. Just the amount of listeners per day, per week. I'm still new at this format, on this platform, trying to build up an audience here. Right now, it's a whole lot less of you than listen to me on Blog Talk Radio, and that's fine. It's been growing, and I'm pleased with that. But more important than the amount of listeners is what's known in radio as the TSL. That is time spent listening. The network does give me those numbers. Reports are ran, I think, daily. And, anybody can be a listener by just clicking in here for a minute, and then you're out, and it counts as, hey, that person listened, quote unquote. But the time spent listening has been astounding. That means some of you are actually sticking around and enjoying the show, I hope. But no, seriously, it's been, those numbers are very, very, very encouraging. So I do thank you. We're going to keep doing this. Tell your family, tell your friends. Give us a Facebook like. Save the address to your favorites. Tonight's program is once again brought to you by Darker Than Blue Cafe, located right there on Greenmount, just south of 33rd in beautiful downtown Waverly. You go to Darker Than Blue Cafe and enjoy fine dining with the Southern style flair. It's basically, distinctly soul food with a certain accent to it. Chef Casey Jenkins is the proprietor. He's waiting to serve you with award-winning dishes at one of North Baltimore's finest eateries. Check out darkerthanbluecafe.com. That's darkerthanbluecafe.com. Let him know James, the Baltimore Spectator, sent you when you call. The phone number's right there. Also, I can tell you that Casey Jenkins has a special treat coming up in a little over a month. A brand new sports bar comes to Baltimore by the people who brought you Darker Than Blue Cafe, and it's called Birdland Sports Bar and Grill. We'll give you the address and more information. Won't be opening up till sometime first week in December, but I had to get these announcements out of the way before we get going. Also, we always encourage you to not drink and drive. Call a taxi for a ride. It's just a smart thing to do. A lot of people are out there partying, probably not listening to this, but they may call you. They may say, come on, dude, we're down here drinking, having fun. Make sure you tell them to call a taxi cab, 410-261-0000. That's Arrow Cab. That's 410-261-0000. Let's begin the show. It is Halloween. Got to thank Mayor, too, by the way, another faithful listener and supporter. There was a man declared dead yesterday. Well, he was shot yesterday, and the police department released information that he was dead this morning. The Sun ran a story saying this man was dead. And lo and behold, tonight, Halloween night, we find out he's not dead. He's alive. Gravely injured, clinging to life, but he is alive. You want to make that a little bit creepy? That man was actually shot near the famous Greenmount Cemetery. The one that is supposedly haunted. They said he was dead. Now he's back. You tell me. How weird is that? How weird is that? Let me help you guys out with the chat bubble again. I guess it may look different on your screen than it does on mine, perhaps, but in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, there is a number 1. That means there's one chat. To the left of the number 1 is the little cartoon bubble. If you click on the cartoon bubble, it pops open a chat window, like an instant message style window, and right there, you will be able to communicate with and harass me, the host. No, I'm just kidding, but check it out. I've had a few people try it out over the last few days, and it's actually a pretty neat way to get me a quick message, point something out, ask a question. And of course, there's always Twitter. You can shoot me messages on Twitter. I do monitor the Twitter while I'm doing the show. But yeah, that guy was declared dead, or not declared, announced dead, because that's the problem. There's no evidence that a medical professional called him dead, but nonetheless, the word got out. Word was published. It was official. He was dead. And we get a late night correction, not from Baltimore police directly, but actually from Justin Fenton, who received his information, his correction, from the same people who said he was dead. A short time after that, we got word that there was a stabbing, and Justin Fenton, again, said that the stabbing was non-life-threatening. And I said, well, hey, if this guy dies, I'm going to be pissed, because we got to get our story straight. But so far, there have been 3 shootings and 1 stabbing tonight. It's only 10:30. The night is very young for a Halloween night. Of course, we're hoping there isn't more. But you know how Detroit gets on Halloween night? What do they call it? Devil's Night? Fires and riots, and it's just a madhouse. And, honestly, in a lot of ways, seriously, in a lot of ways, I hate to say this, some of you are going to hate me for saying it, Baltimore is slowly morphing, slowly sliding, slowly slipping into becoming just like Detroit. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to believe me. But if you're honest with yourself, if you take a good look around, that's what's happening. I wish it wasn't. Don't get me wrong. I live here. I own property here. I don't want to see this place go to hell. But the current direction we're going in, I hate to tell you, that's just where it's going. And you know what? I think you can only chat with me if you follow me maybe on Spreaker.com. And it's a free, simple setup account. I think that's what the deal is. The folks who have been chatting with me over the last few days are listed on the followers there. There's a simple button somewhere. You click on the home page and it gives you a follow. So I think that may be part of the problem why folks trying to link up with me there aren't making it. But we have the Twitters, and we can always do that. So moving right along to review again, 3 shootings and a stabbing. One of the shootings is considered to be life-threatening. Homicide has been notified. Whenever homicide is notified, even though the person is surviving, they're expected not to. So, of course, the investigation immediately takes on the tone of a homicide. Kind of like one time when I was in the emergency room, in and out of consciousness, and I woke up and a priest was standing over me. I thought, this is it. I'm a goner. Turns out it was a Catholic hospital, and the priest does rounds and visits every patient. But I thought, I'm not even Catholic, but it scared the crap out of me. I thought I was seeing last rites or something like that. We're going to talk just a little bit about Hurricane Sandy, because there's still a few important things to note. I had some audio footage I was trying to get to you from a fellow citizen journalist like myself up in New Jersey, live with Laura. And, you know, she's just a regular girl, doing a citizen, doing her part to help inform and educate others. But something, we had an error. I'm not able to bring you that clip right now. But they really, really, really got it bad up there, folks. And we definitely want to uplift them, keep them in our thoughts and prayers. I mean, they got hit hard. In Baltimore, our assessment so far, we have about 230 trees that's been counted down. I saw a few. Actually, a good friend of mine, elderly lady, I checked on her yesterday, and sure enough, one of her trees fell onto her neighbor's house. We've had the power outages. We've had a few mainly vacant buildings collapse. But all in all, like I said in the last show or two, it hasn't been too bad. But bear in mind, I'm going to make this clear because nobody else in the media is making this clear for you. But as a true hurricane survivor, and just because I like to make things plain, I'm going to tell you, yes, the storm was called Hurricane Sandy. But make no mistake, what Maryland experienced was not a hurricane. The 40-mile-per-hour sustained winds we have is just a storm. We get winter storms or like the derecho, far more damaging, far stronger than that. We did not, for the most part, experience hurricane force winds, and that has a lot to do with the relative lack of damage most of us have here as compared to our friends to the north. You know, in New York City, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the pictures by now, so I'm not going to belabor the point. The flooded out cars, but the subway tunnels are flooded out with water. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think this has ever happened up there, that the subway tunnels are filled with seawater. And the corrosion that's going to cause. I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars worth of damage. The most amount of people dead because of Sandy are in New York City and New York State. I mean, it's terrible up there. They've had a lot of loss of life. I had some clips from Mayor Bloomberg I wanted to play for you. Again, it's been a crazy day dealing with a lot of things. I wasn't able to get everything involved with show prep. I certainly didn't want to stay here preparing a show, and not be able to go live till midnight. It's bad enough I have a few of you waiting up this late to listen, and I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you staying up here with me. And of course, when you're listening to the podcast, the rest of you're going to be like, what is this guy talking about? Wonderful thing about internet radio. We did have one death in Maryland where a tree fell on a man. The other thing I want to make clear is there are still the possibility of downed wires even here in Maryland. That's why we have these out-of-town crews. You saw that early morning tweet. about a Western Maryland utility crew having the copper stolen off their trucks. These guys are from out of town. They came here to help, and some cracked out hillbilly dope fiend stole their copper so he can get another high, even though they're surrounded by 2 feet worth of snow up there. So, you know, there's problems all around. It's not just Baltimore. All the way in Western Maryland, some jackass is stealing, you know, copper off a utility truck that's coming to do what? Restore power. Go figure, you know. One of the saddest, and we're going to get back to the title of the show, so bear with me here. Being a good street reporter, here's how. I haven't forgotten. I know that's what most of you are listening for, especially Catalina Bird. We are going to get to it, I promise. Back to New York and New Jersey. One of the most tragic angles I've observed coming out of this is the big fire that happened. You know, the 100 or so homes destroyed by fire. These folks had already evacuated because of the storm. The waters rolled in. Somehow a fire got started. It spread and spread. The fire department could not get to the houses. So not only did these folks evacuate, and their houses may have survived the hurricane, but now their their houses are gone, consumed with fire. So again, keep those folks in your prayers. There's been a few electrocutions, like I've mentioned before, is always a possibility. You step into a puddle of water, it's electrified somewhere. It may not even be where you can see it, but it's all a conductor. It all connects together. Be extra careful. Even if you're walking around here in Maryland and you don't think the lights are out, doesn't mean there isn't a live wire down somewhere. I can't stress that enough. It could save someone's life. Let's see here. You guys are saying some stuff to me in Twitter. It says Catalina's account isn't authenticated. It's too much. Tweet it shall be. Well, no problem, Catalina. I think it's easily authenticated through Twitter or Facebook. Don't get me to line. I think that's how you do it, but I definitely couldn't figure it out now while we're live on air. Matter of fact, let's go to a quick commercial break, and I will see about that. Be right back. Okay, welcome back. I hope you guys are listening to that ad, because seriously, anybody can be a DJ these days. Anyone can start their own Spreaker show, and I hope me coming on here every single day now, like I've done, 8-9 days in a row, inspires somebody to do something. Again, you don't have to try to sound like me or cover what I cover, but we need more voices in this community desperately. There's so much noise, so much confusion, so much misinformation, disinformation. I don't care if you're just talking to 2 other people. Seriously. That's 2 other people that you could be sharing some vital information with, and they could share it with 2 other people, and they can share it with 2 other people, and before you know it, you have exponential spreading. That's essentially the true meaning of viral. It doesn't mean that you have thousands and thousands of people listening. You just think about, if you caught a virus, everyone you come in contact with could catch that virus, and everyone they come in contact with can catch it, and that's what viral means. It doesn't always have to be something earth-shattering, but you know my feelings on Baltimore. You know I feel we need to turn this thing around before we go over the edge, and I do a lot of this to hopefully inspire people. Before I get into being a good street reporter, I have to bring up the name of Anthony Anderson. The storm, the elections. Notice we're almost half hour into the show, and I haven't said a word about Obama. I haven't said a word about Romney. You know why? If you want that, you can go listen to traditional talk radio, AM, listen to one of those other guys, those big guys, those famous popular guys, but you're not going to get that here. Personally, I'm tired of it. Can't wait for the election to be over. I'm guessing a lot of you are tired of it too. You've already made up your mind. Voting has already begun. How much more talk can we do about this? I don't think anybody's mind is going to change. But what needs to change is the silence. The silence going on in Baltimore over the death of Anthony Anderson while in custody of Baltimore police. Nobody is talking about it. The media is letting it slip. They're hoping it just goes away and we will forget. But I have to tell you, the Baltimore Spectator will not forget. And as long as you guys are around, listening to me here, follow me on Twitter, I'm not going to let it go. And I encourage you to not let it go either. Bring this up as much as you can, anywhere, anytime you can. This man lost his life unnecessarily. There's nothing he did deserving of death. There are no charges filed, even though it was determined to be homicide. So this song playing here goes out to all the bad, crooked, dirty, corrupt, criminal cops out there. Yeah, that's the instrumental version of Cypress Hill's "How I Could Just Kill a Man." You know, we got people on this police force. It's been happening every year. There are these questionable shootings, questionable killings, and it's like, it's okay. You can just kill a man. No worry. No worry of prosecution. No worry of being called out on it. No worry about the media keeping the event out front. You can just kill a man. Get away with it. It's nuts. Madness. Look at y'all trying to rush me. Will he just get to it? What's up with all this music? Maybe some of you don't know. I got my start in radio as a DJ. And when I was DJing, I was spinning records, okay? Real records. Now, the first time I walked into a radio studio, it was a talk studio, but I was 5 years old. I wasn't working, but that was the actual first time I was in a studio with my dad, who's been doing talk radio continuously now for who knows how many decades. The man is old. Anyhow, I'm so glad, so happy, so pleased that Catalina Bird logged out, logged back in, and she has now joined us in the chat room. Adam is hanging out in the chat room. This is cool. This is the first time we've had a small group in the chat room. So, guys, it is open. I am watching, and we will get into the purpose of me going this direction of the show. It's not what I had planned tonight, but the discussion on Twitter moved me in this direction. I'm going to get right into it. Being a good street reporter, here's how. You know, I'll try to do a catchy title so that people can follow me. Listen, the thing about street reporting, I'm not talking about covering City Hall or doing the most in-depth investigations and all that stuff. You can learn a lot of that at journalism school. But what they won't teach you, what will be difficult for you to grasp, is how to connect to the people on the street. If you cannot relate to people, if you cannot understand people, you're not going to be able to tell their story effectively. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, most of the people currently attempting to cover stories, hello Adam, I see you. Most of the people currently attempting to cover these news stories in Baltimore don't look like Baltimore. Seriously, let's keep it real. Let's not pretend. If I went to Dubuque, Iowa, which is a mostly white city, I don't think I would find the media dominated by black people. I don't think that majority white city would have black people telling their story. Nonetheless, in Baltimore, you have a majority black city, but with a majority white press. Now, how does this make any sense? Am I the only one confused by this? Seriously. It's going to go deeper than that, but we have to start there with the obvious. We have to start with the obvious. So I'm watching you guys in chat. I'm watching you in Twitter. And I wonder if you can help explain to me why you have in this majority black city a majority white media. Seriously. I'm not going to pull any punches here. This is my little tiny internet Spreaker web radio show. So I don't have to worry about being censored, a meeting afterwards, or some other crap like that. I'm going to look at your responses in the chat and the Twitter. Oh, well, Catalina's getting coffee. No one else tolerates this stuff of letting the outsiders try to tell their story. You see, the Baltimore police are viewed as outsiders in the city. The media is not much different. If you guys heard the interview I did, and this is not bragging, I'm really trying to share some insight here. The interview I did with that girl who had to commit that unfortunate act to save her own life. It's not uncommon for me to get these type of interviews. Sometimes they're big. I do a whole show on it like that. Many times it's just me getting information on the scene. Why is that? Because these people trust me. They readily talk to me. Let me give you a better example. Imagine a war correspondent from the United States going to a foreign land, Afghanistan, Iraq, or whatever, and having no local guide with them, having no translator. How long do you think he would last? How long would he survive? What kind of job could he do if he didn't look like the people, he didn't talk their language, he didn't understand them? Am I making sense now? That's the problem going on here in Baltimore. That's why these guys can only go so far. And most of them haven't been doing it that long. They rotate. They bring in anybody and they throw them out on the street. Hey, you're our crime reporter for this network. Really? That's disrespectful to the city. We deserve better than that. Not saying that the reporters are bad people. They're thrown into a job that they're ill prepared for. They're ill equipped just because they know journalism. They don't know the streets. They don't know Baltimore. And they come and go and they come and go. I mean, here's the truth. I've been doing what I do longer than even the head police spokesman has been doing what he's doing at Baltimore Police. I think that says something. And again, it's not a bragging statement. It just, I say that so when I make these pronouncements and these observations, you have to understand where I'm coming from. It comes from the depth of my experience that none of them have. How could they have it? I've been doing this longer. It's just a simple fact. Justin's been doing it for a while. He has good contacts in the police department. He has decent writing skills, but what he doesn't have is my skin color, and that's a fact. If anybody white is offended, you need to open your eyes. Just listen to what I said. You wouldn't go to Afghanistan and not have a local with you. The people, they don't trust you. You don't understand each other. Everywhere else, it's done like that, except when you come to an American metropolitan city. You think you can just take any old guy, throw him any old place, and he's going to do well. I mean, Justin Fenton is hardworking. Trust me, he is. But what he's lacking is that he doesn't have a really, really good feel for the streets, and it's not his fault. He goes to places where the people see him, and they're afraid of him. No, seriously, they see Justin, and they're afraid of him. Justin one time was covering a murder, trying to get some information afterwards. This was a few years ago. Some of you may know about this, some of you may not. I covered the same murder. He was walking around a house where it happened and just trying to take some notes and some pictures. He got attacked with a hammer. He had to call the police to be escorted safely out the area and not be, brutalized. I mean, it was kind of a standoff, but the guy had a hammer and he faced him down. Listen, I've been all over this place in all kinds of hostile areas, talking to all kinds of thugs and people who have literally just killed people, not just that lady, but people who have maliciously murdered. Not once have I been directly threatened on these streets. Coincidence? I don't think so. Let's see what you're saying in the chat room. Adam says some people love talking to me, think because my age, but others would yell at me to get my white ass out of here. Well, it's a fact. You may not like the sound of it. It may not be fair, but that's reality. We can't go recreating reality to suit our desires. Some parts of reality, you just have to accept it for what it is. The sooner you do that, the more effective you can be and learn to work with it. That's another way of saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. Seriously. Catalina says skin doesn't have anything to do with the picture he paints of victims. Well, in a way, Catalina, it actually does. It just comes from the perspective he has. He's a foreigner. Sure, he's an American, but he's a foreigner. He's not from Baltimore City. He might as well be as foreign as if you or I went to Afghanistan. Sure, we can write, observe what we see, we can take pictures, but we cannot immerse ourselves in a culture that's not our own if we don't have a proper guide. We don't have a proper instruction. We will forever be an outsider trying to look in. And that's what he is. And I don't mean this to put him down. I honestly do not. A lot of people think I don't like the guy, or, you know, I'm trying to be a rival or fight with him. Let's be real here. He's not listening, so I can talk about him. A lot of the stuff I say about him, I'm only half serious. I'm kidding. I'm joking. That's the kind of person I am. You have to really get to know me, because I don't tell you every time I make a joke that it's a joke. Some people are easily offended, but you have to really get to know me to know when I'm switching seamlessly back and forth between being serious and being silly. That's my way of getting through life, my way of coping with the horrible, horrible things I've seen over the years and continue to see. I mean, listen, 23 years ago, I survived Hurricane Hugo. The things I saw down there, the horrific, let me tell you one quick one. We were on a patrol going to check on seniors, and we're walking through waist-deep water. Can't see what's below us. Can't see if there's wires that could kill us. And one of my partners started just screaming and just shaking uncontrollably. We didn't know what was going on. He's saying, my leg, my foot. I don't know if a gator bit him or something like that. So we yanked him out the water. In his foot was a huge board attached by a nail. It pierced his boot. The nail came through the top of his boot. It went clear through his foot. The blood was spurting everywhere. At that point, that was one of the most horrific things I'd ever seen in my life. I've seen a lot worse since, people dying and gory stuff. I'll tell you, since it's Halloween, I'll tell you a scary story. But I'm going somewhere with this, you know. And we had to set him down and remove this nail like you would pull it out of a board. We had to get a man stand on either side of the board and yank his foot off that nail, and the screeching sound it made coming out of human flesh. There was no ambulances. The roads were flooded out. The hospital was destroyed. It's not like we could have called 911. There was no 911. There was total infrastructure collapse on that island. Catalina says you don't have to be black to, scrolled up again. Let me see here. You don't have to be black to know that the individual you're writing about is someone's child, lover, brother, father, etc. Well, maybe so. You're right. But you see, it goes back to being the outsider thing. You're detached. You're disconnected. You're just an observer. You're not really feeling it. You're not really there. Of course, if you had a guide, that guide could help more deeper humanize it. But the cops have the same problem. Most of them live in Pennsylvania. Numerically, the majority of them in the city are white, believe it or not. And they're basically an occupying force. Adam says, what about Simon? He was good at connecting with the people. Simon's gone. He's retired from covering crime. Like I said, I'm talking about people currently covering crime. Simon was a rare breed, the likes of which have not been seen in Baltimore ever since. You don't have to connect to make a choice as a journalist to not depict someone a certain way. Maybe so, to allow their families and them the dignity of simply being the victim that they are. Well, if he has all of those issues, he needs to cover food trucks. I don't think he chose what he was going to cover. I don't think that's how it works when you're at a major in city, major metropolitan daily like the Baltimore Sun. I'm not sure. I've never worked for any companies like that. I'm 100% independent. I work for myself. There's a funny behind the scenes video of me at Radio 1 the other day. I'm going to eventually edit it and throw it up. It's a short video, but you see me taking my appearance fee before we even turn a mic on, because I get paid to go over there and do some news reporting. I do some editing and some writing sometimes, but I'm a hired gun. Have 2 feet, will travel. I go wherever I'm asked, wherever I'm called, wherever I'm needed, and I get paid to do that. But I don't work for anyone. I work for myself, so I can cover what I choose to and what I don't choose to. But I don't think Mr. Fenton has that kind of freedom. I really don't. So that's the deal with that. Let me tell you guys, we're going to get back into this conversation, but I really want to get this story out. I've never really shared this story on radio or anywhere else. It's a very short one. But one of the creepiest things I've ever seen, and I asked you guys for creepy experiences earlier, and I didn't get too much of a response. I told you most of my creepy responses have something to do with being in the same room as Martin O'Malley. And I wasn't kidding. I'm not kidding. But no, one of the creepiest things I ever experienced, I was working in law enforcement some years ago, and I got dispatched to the scene of a suicide. And okay, they happen, and we all have a role to do there. But I wasn't prepared for what I saw. First of all, the suicide happened on the 2nd floor of a multi-story apartment building. As soon as you entered the lobby downstairs, the stench of rotting, putrid, dead human flesh immediately hit you. I mean, it hit you hard. This man was stink. He'd been there for days, maybe a week. That's why we got the call. No one knew he was dead, but eventually the funk was so bad. I mean, I don't know if any of you have ever smelled a foul dead human. I don't mean a recently dead, but a foul dead human. It is a smell, I swear to you, you'll never forget. I did the old Vicks trick. I had to go. I saw so many bodies, I started carrying around a bottle of Vicks Vapor Rub in my pocket, and that sucker burns your nose, the mentholyptus or whatever. But I'd rather take the burn, and I jammed it all underneath my nostrils, so that every time I breathed in, I got that minty menthol smell, as opposed to the rotten human flesh smell. But anyways, I'm just in the lobby, and I'm smelling this. Before we went in, one of the officers who was there already, he says, "Hey, I got to tell you, this is really foul. I hope you're ready for this." And he looks at me, and he paused. He said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Let's go." We get up to the apartment. This man didn't just commit suicide. Is anybody listening to this? Does anybody care, or am I just wasting your time with this? Because I could stop this story right now. So, you all tell me, I don't know. Maybe nobody cares about this. I'll just finish it. It was the strangest thing I had seen. The guy, first of all, he was dressed in all black. The house was all black. The drapes were black. The sheets on the bed were black. The tablecloth was black. There was a black cat walking around. There were black candles burnt all the way out, burnt down. I guess this guy went blacked out before he took himself out. He was black. No, I mean, really, he was a black guy. And you know how this man killed himself? You know what his method of suicide was? Now, there's a lot of ways you can take yourself out. I don't recommend any of them. I'm not going to discuss the methods, but, use your imagination. This man used a samurai sword to the gut. He braced it against the bed and leaned over into it, and it plunged through his body, and that's the position we found him in. He was on his hands and knees, clutching the sword, and it was through his body. Oh my God, I could never get that image out of my head. Forget what you see on CSI with the good makeup and whatever. They do a pretty good job. But when you're face to face, inches away from some guy in all black house with a black cat and the black candles dressed in black, and you see a sword going through human flesh, I'm going to tell you, most of us are not, we're we're not emotionally, psychologically prepared for that. How do you prepare for that? How the hell do you prepare for seeing tender human flesh skewered with a sword? Adam says, my first ride-along in the Eastern, within the first 2 minutes, we were walking into a house with the guy who hung himself, and it was overwhelming. You're damn right it's overwhelming in so many ways. Adam, I'm not sure who you are. I appreciate you being here. Which Adam is that? Because obviously you are a reporter, and that's pretty cool that you're in here communicating with me. You guys are gonna hate me. I do need to take a break. I'm not gonna give you TMI, but I do need to take a break. I have a song here I'm going to play while I take care of some off-air business. Please don't go away. The song is a pretty neat song. Speaking of scary, first of all, it's John Mayer. That's scary. Oh, that's Meister? Oh, hell, why did he tell me that was Meister? You sure? That's not Adam Meister. That's not Adam Meister. That's another Adam. No. The Adam would have told me he was Adam. I've known Adam a long time. Anyways, I'm gonna play the song because I actually need to take this break. But I gotta give you some background on the song. I really want you to listen to it. I think you're gonna like it because it's unique, it's different. I am one of the world's biggest Jimi Hendrix fan. I love Hendrix. I think the man was a genius. Too many black kids nowadays think rock and roll is the white man's music. They don't realize the black man invented rock and roll. Ask any rock and roller this, and they will tell you, whether it be Mick Jagger, as old as he is, or a young guy like John Mayer. And John Mayer does one of the most beautiful covers of a Hendrix song. The singing is okay, but the guitar virtuosity is awesome. The best part, I really want you to listen to this while I'm gone. I'm coming back. The best part of the song is in the middle of the song where he starts talking and he invokes Jimi Hendrix. I mean, it's a totally different John Mayer. The singing sounded one way, but he sounds just like Hendrix would sound. If you listen to a lot of Hendrix, you know the way he talks. I'm not even going to try to do the impression and butcher it. But Mayer nails it. Not just the tone of voice, but the stuff he's saying. So I'm talking too much because I need to take a break. I need to play the song. But I want you guys to listen to this song, Bold as Love, a Jimi Hendrix cover by John Mayer. Tell me what you think about it. I'll be back in a little while. Don't go anywhere. This is A Spectator Speaks. James MacArthur coming to you.
Jealousy, envy waits behind it. Her fiery green gown slings at the grassy ground. The blue of the life-giving waters, take it for granted. They quietly understand. The once happy turquoise armies that opposite are ready. But wonder why the fight is on. But they're all the boldest love. They're all the boldest love. They're all the boldest love. Just ask the accent. So confident in flashes, triggers of war and villains of euphoria. Oh, just a young, full of dabbing, but it's very unsteady for the first go round. My yellow in this kiss is not so mellow. In fact, I'm trying to say it's facts that lie for me. And all these emotions of mine keep holding the road, giving my life to bring more life to you, but I'm bold as love, yeah. I'm bold as love, yeah. I'm bold as love. Just ask the accent.
All right, so check it out, right? I've tried every approach to living. I've tried it all. I haven't tried everything, but I've tried every approach. Sometimes you have to try everything to get the approach the same, but I tried it all. I bought a bunch of stuff. I went, no, I don't like that. I kind of came in and out of that a couple times. Thought I would shut myself off. I thought maybe that's cool. Maybe that's what you have to do to be a genius, is you have to be mad. So if you can get mad before the word genius, then maybe you can make genius appear, right? That doesn't work either. And I'm in a good place. I paced myself pretty well. I'm 30. I've seen some cool stuff. I've made a lot of stuff happen for myself. I made a lot of stuff happen for myself, right? That's a really cool sentence when you're in your 20s. I made it happen for myself, right? But all that means is that I've just somehow or another found a way to synthesize love or synthesize soothing, or you can't get that. And what I'm saying is I've messed with all the approaches except for one, and it's gonna sound really corny, but that's just love. That's just love. I've done everything in my life that I want to do except just give and feel love for my living. And I don't mean like a Roman candle, firework, Hollywood, hot pink love. I mean like, I got your back love. I don't need to hear I love you. You guys love me, I love you, we got that down. But some of the people who will tell you that they love you are the same people who were the last just have your back. So I'm going to experiment with this love thing, giving love, feeling love. I know it sounds really corny, but it's the last thing I got to check out before I check out. Take me to the solo one more time, make it loud, thank you!
Well, there you have it, folks. That's Bold as Love. A pretty good Jimi Hendrix cover by John Mayer. No, nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever be Jimi Hendrix. But of the guys playing right now, we don't have too many guys who can play like that and sing at the same time. That music you heard, that was just a three-piece. You had John Mayer on guitar, and you had a guy on drums and a guy on bass, and that's how Jimmy did it. It sounded pretty good, actually. And the funny thing is, the two guys besides Mayer, they were like older guys. I mean, much older. And then you have young John Mayer, but that's his trio. And you know, it's pretty good for a white guy, seriously, to be talking like Jimmy there in the middle. So back to this whole thing on reporters. You got to understand the people you're covering, and it's really hard to do that when you didn't grow up like they did, when you didn't live like they did, when your life experience, your sum total of your life experience has got you in a different place. I mean, Justin Fenton didn't grow up being harassed by the police like I did. He doesn't see them the same way I do, never can. He didn't grow up seeing, being followed around as he's walking through a shopping mall by security, or when he got his first car being tailed and pulled over randomly like I did, like so many of my friends did. I doubt he's gotten false arrest after false arrest after false arrest like I did, like so many other young black men in Baltimore has. And these are the things that these guys are lacking. I don't hold that against them. Catalina makes some good points. There's some other areas maybe that are within his control that he can improve on. But I think the bigger part of what you see is out of his control. That's just what I think. You got, without a local guide, you're stuck. You can't just be thrown into a place and expect to do a good job. But what does that tell you about his employers, about his bosses, about the Sun? What does that tell you about how they see the city and how they respect the majority population? Or let's be anthropological with it, the indigenous peoples here. Seriously, what does that tell you when they think that they can do a public service, the vitally important public service of media, of journalism, by just throwing people out there without local guides, without local understandings, that aren't really from here? Isn't that a little arrogant, a little disrespectful? Is that any different than sending a white missionary to Africa or the Caribbean, and he's telling everybody there, hey, you got it all wrong. You're naked. Yeah, it's the tropical heat. Who cares? You need to put on this suit to be properly dressed. You need to put on this tie. Do it our way, because our way is the only way. And who cares what you guys have been doing for hundreds of years, thousands of years? You're doing it all wrong. Isn't that along those same lines? I mean, help me out if I'm wrong, if I'm off base. We're so stuck up these days and so PC, we don't like to have just straightforward, frank conversations on race, but I'm not afraid to do it. So if I'm wrong, you let me know. Folks, you're listening to The Spectator Speaks. I'm James MacArthur, the Baltimore Spectator. The website is baltimorespectator.com. Man, this has been a prolonged show, and a few of you guys are still hanging here with me. Really, really appreciate it. I got to tell you, give you a teaser. There are some interesting articles coming up. I do follow up on some of my bigger stories recently. One of my most read stories ever was on the mounted police unit and the alleged sex scandal that involved them. You notice it went away, and everybody is content with letting it go away. And that's one of the other problems I have here. There is no follow-up. That is a disservice to the public. I'm just one guy. I don't have a media organization. I don't have a team of people. I don't have interns. But there is no excuse. There's no excuse for major media entities to do the kind of reporting that they do here. And again, this is not disparaging the individual reporters per se, but the general editorial direction. Their standard operating procedures, the way they do things, it's off. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell people how to do their job, but as a news consumer, as a citizen of this town, I know what I see, and it stinks. They can do a better job than that. How do you let big stories just disappear? A man was killed by cops in police custody. no drugs. I mean, a minimal amount of drugs on him, no weapon. He was killed, and you just let that slide. A woman who's been suffering domestic abuse for years stabs and kills her boyfriend. Oh, it's no big deal. I mean, I don't. The stuff that's a priority story here and what's not, it's laughable to me sometimes. It's just laughable. Adam, I'm guessing you're saying that you were one of the few young white men to go into some of these neighborhoods who wasn't a cop, and people enjoyed talking to you for the most part. Maybe you have better people skills. I don't know how much time they spend really inculcating to these folks how to connect and relate to people that may not look like them. It's not the same. You may be a good people person among your people, but the same skill set doesn't automatically transfer over. That's culturally insensitive. You can't assume the way you talk to a Hispanic is going to work when you go talk to an Arabic. It just doesn't work that way. This is foolish American arrogance to think you can treat all people the same. We're not all the same. That's political correctness run amok. I really wanted to bash on the sun a little bit more, but we're running out of time. I got to keep this a little short here. Dan Rodricks, what's up with that guy? I talked about that phony, foolish gun control article that the Sun had the other day. This new study by Hopkins, which was a whole bunch of rehash. Your government money probably went in part to fund this study that says we need tighter gun control, and even the same article says no evidence is found that it works. A lot of what was in there, I pointed out in one of these shows, one of these podcasts, a lot of what that Hopkins study researched and had to come up with were already in the 20-plus-year-old assault weapons ban that Bill Clinton put in 1994, expired in, 10 years plus, expired in 2004. They let it expire and felt no need to renew it, and they're saying crime has gone down, these same people. So they can't make up their minds. They don't know what they want to do. The worst part is, not only did the Sun have it as a prominent story on the front page, as if it's some kind of news, and there was no news in that article, but Dan Rodricks turns around and the other day brings this same guy as a guest on his show, as if to add some, to legitimize it. Of all the different things going on, of the poverty, the drug addiction, the teenage pregnancy, these are the things that's crippling this town, bringing us to our knees. You want to talk about some Hopkins study on gun control? The guns is what's causing the poverty here? The guns is what's making people take drugs? We need to get real with this stuff, seriously. Yeah, I know there's gun violence here, but what's the cause? I cannot stress this enough. You can't blame cars for making people drive drunk and kill people. How stupid does that sound? That's what they're doing. Sure, the guns are killing people, but somebody picks up that gun and pulls the trigger. Somebody drinks that beer, drinks that vodka, that whiskey, and gets in the car and goes down the road and kills somebody. So you got to look into cause and effect, not just the apparatus used to carry this out. Well, I want to practice being a little bit more briefer here. We're into this show, but you guys are still here. Man, I love you all for doing this. This is going to be one of the longest ones I've done, maybe because of all these musical breaks. Let's see here. We're going to wrap up here soon. Adam says, interesting thing I just thought about. I was with Gary Hoover. Not sure if you know him, but he was former homicide, retired, left the city for a few years, came back and told me, no wonder the city homicide rate is down. Half the city has left. Absolutely. It has a lot to do with things. The city is dying, like the song Old Baltimore says. Give you another teaser here before I leave. I'm going to be doing a new show. Oh, I'm on tomorrow, 7 p.m. Call-in show on blogtalkradio.com. The links are tweeted out here, but you can go to blogtalkradio.com/Baltimore Spectator. It takes you right to my show page. It shows you the show is scheduled. It gives you the phone number. The player that you click on is right there. It's podcastable, downloadable, much like this. Quality, sound quality, this one is superior. This is really like broadcast or CD quality music. Over there, it's a little bit more like AM talk radio. But nonetheless, we get to get into some issues. I hope The lovely Catalina Bird will join me tomorrow. There's some interviews I may accomplish in the daytime, and we will bring those to the show. Let's see here. What else? Of course, my email for everyone is macarthurmedia@gmail.com. There's something else I'm really forgetting that I wanted to bring to you, and it's just slipping my mind. But I do have some good articles I hope to get put up there in the coming days. I think you guys are going to love them. It's just more of the news and views not commonly heard, the stuff that our full-time, professionally paid colleagues just apparently couldn't be bothered with. Let's see here. My phone number is 410-205-6397. That's 410-205-NEWS. You can call me anytime. You can send me a text message tip. Like, I get so much of my information. Everywhere I go, people want to connect with me, want to talk with me, want to share information with me. I mean, sometimes it's overwhelming, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the love and the connection that I get from people in Baltimore. I can't tell you how many crime victims have willingly sat down and talked with me. One of the things I do is I go around these neighborhoods a lot, even when I'm not covering a story. So I connect with a lot of the people, and they feel like they connect with me. But it helps deepen my understanding of who they are and what they're like. Hey, Adam, looks, I appreciate you coming in here. I know we're going way over time. I didn't even plan to go anywhere near this long. But, man, I thank you for coming in here, and everyone else. I guess I'll just stop jibber-jabbering and wrap up here. I want to end on a nice musical note. I normally end on Old Baltimore, but I'm going to let somebody pick. I have a couple songs here I want to go out with. We can either go out with a live version of Warren Zevon, Werewolves of London. We can go out with a special Bruce Springsteen and Billy Joel doing New York State of Mind. That's a pretty cool version. Because, well, New York, they've been hit hard. Or we can have Aretha Franklin, Queen of Soul, on piano singing Bridge Over Troubled Water. I will let somebody tell me which one it is here, but you got to do it quick so I can end this. Even if you're leaving, I'll just let the music roll. It'll be part of the show. And tomorrow, when, a few more people listen to it, is part of things. New show is going to be coming up called Spec Tunes, where I don't do all this talking and I just play music, going back to some of my DJ roots. Spec Tunes. That I'll tell you more about that later. But yeah, this show was a little bit hastily thrown together. I got so worked up about the discussion we were having on Twitter about how news is done here. The disconnect that Catalina mentioned with the people being covered by the people covering them. And it really bothers me. Let's we gotta end with some music here. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, no, that doesn't help. Man, you guys didn't help me. Now I gotta do this choice live on air. I mean, we got to end on a cool note, on a good note, a happy note, positive note, sad note, or no note at all. Too much talking, right? AF, I'm doing too much talking here. Let's see. I mean, normally I have the go-to of Old Baltimore, but I feel like doing something a little different tonight. Good night, folks. It's James MacArthur asking you to be well, be blessed, and be more.
I have observed in my travels, you got your werewolves in London, your werewolves in Pasadena, got your Peter Wolf from Boston where we played last night, but there's only one werewolves of New Jersey. streets of the sand of the rain. He was looking for a place called Lee Ho Foods. Wanna get a big dish, great chow mein, right?
All right, that was a very rare version. That was a very, very rare version of Warren Zevon, Werewolves of London. Had to do it, man. Had to do it on Halloween night. Just feeling the old inner DJ in me come alive. So I'm just doing a little bit of music thing here. The show is over, but enjoying the music. Had to come back on air. Wasn't even planning to come back on air, except Michael A. Wood Jr. said, "Hey, I finally signed in, finally caught you live, and you sign off." Well, Michael, still here, not queer, not going anywhere. Okay, Michael, this next song is gonna be for you. Okay, just for you. But before we do that, it is Halloween.
This is Vincent Price. Michael Jackson is the Thriller. Can you dig it?
There will be a reunion. Are you ready for the summit at the Garden? Are you ready for the Bridge and Tunnel Summit meeting right here, right now? Because Long Island is about to meet New Jersey on the neutral ground of New York City. So I'd like to invite the King of Long Island to come on out and meet the East Street Band, Mr. Billy Joel. That's right. Some folks like to get away. They take a holiday from the neighborhood. Have a flight to Miami Beach or Hollywood. I'm taking a Greyhound on the Hudson River line. I'm in a New York state of mind. I've seen all the movie stars and the fancy cars and limousines. I've been high in the Rockies under the evergreens, but I know what I'm needing. I don't want to waste more time. I'm in a New York state of mind. It was so easy living day by day, out of touch with the rhythm and blues. But now I need a little give and take. The New York Times, the Daily News. Comes down to reality, and it's fine with me, 'cause I've let it slide. I don't care if it's Chinatown or on Riverside. I don't have any reason left them all behind. Oh, I'm in a New York state of so easy living day by day, out of touch with the rhythm. But now I need a little give and take. The New York Times today. It's fine with me, cause I've let it slide. I don't care if it's Chinatown or Riverside. I don't have any reasons, I left them all behind. I'm in New York, state of mind. River line.
If you look up and see yourself standing out on the street, evening falls, sunrise, be there to comfort you. I'll take a while. Oh yes, I will.
Ain't nowhere to run to, there ain't nothing here for free. Hooker on the corner, waiting for a train. Junk lying on the sidewalk, sleeping in the rain. And they hide their faces, and they hide their eyes, 'cause the city's dying, and they don't know why. Oh, Baltimore, man, it's hard just to live. Oh, Baltimore, man, it's hard just to live, just to live. Yeah, my sister saying it, my little brother Ray, by a big old wagon